patient. We're up there. She's a little impatient, apparently. That's fine. It's fine. Comic Books NYC, what is happening? And he's got the popcorn. And he says he's ready to go. How's everyone?
All at once.
Welcome to the Bounty Hunters. We're gonna talk some Star Wars. Got a new show. Let's see. Let's do a roll call thing here. And without any warning, boom! Tell us about yourself.
It's me, Hoser Comics, otherwise Casper, from up in Canada. Yeah, we're super excited to be doing this. Lots of fun. And yeah, that's about it.
Super fun.
And then the celebrity of the group.
Oh, really? I'm the B team. Seriously. Kachung. I'm Kachung. You can call me Dave. You can call me Kachung. Obviously, we all love Star Wars. That's why we're here. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about different aspects of Star Wars, not only tonight, but every week. And hopefully you guys will tune in every week. See where we go.
Super awesome. So we're like international. I'm the only boring one. I'm just like some regular old American.
You're the original hunter.
I'll have to be like the toxic one of the group, and since all the Americans are toxic, and be like, "Oh, I hate everything Star Wars. Don't change my Star Wars."
Yes, as we'll see, the general commentary has turned to the dark side.
Yeah, here we go. So we do have an insider who's giving us all the dirty background stuff. Like he pulled out all of his toys for this. Awesome.
Yeah. He's the only one with appropriate stuff.
Because I have the toys and I couldn't find any Grievous toys, which I may or may not have been on eBay. But then I thought, it will never get here in time. So
I haven't got a Star Wars T-shirt.
But yeah, so we decided to read a comic book. It is the Dark Horse Grievous series. That is a 4-part series. And so I guess I will hit this little thing real quick. If you see it, I apologize, but I guess let's do this.
Hello there.
Hello there.
This ad tale begins with a Kaleesh male named Kwai Manji Shilaw. On his home planet of Kali, he fought the Hulk so masterfully that his people thought of him almost as a god. During these wars is the first time he came to the attention of Count Dooku. Now some say he asked for these upgrades to make himself an unstoppable force. Others, that his ship exploded on his way back to his home planet, where miraculously Count Dooku found him himself. After being explained that the Jedi were personally responsible for it, his transformation could begin. Shilaw would go on to be personally trained by Count Dooku and learn all the different fighting styles of the Jedi. When the day came that he was ready, he would be unleashed upon the Jedi and known from that day forward as General Grievous. It is rumored that this Night Slayer bravely killed over 100 Jedi, adding each of their sabers to his collection. Today, the bounty hunters will discuss this hero to the Separatist cause. Join us.
And all right. So, Grievous. Let's get into it. Did you have the picture of the first comic? Loser?
Kachun has the photos of all the covers and such. Okay. I had the interior.
I think I have, let me see what I have here. I'll screen share. I think I did that. Let me look. Make sure. Yes, screen share. Yes, I've already given you permission.
No. Yep. No.
Okay.
We are professionals.
Yeah, professional. Okay. So, can you guys see this?
Not really.
We can see your file folders. But nothing. There, yeah.
There we go.
So, General Grievous, Dark Horse. This is the cover. Revenge of the Sith. And I like this very much because this was Grievous at his awesomeness. This is like where he was
heck yeah.
Where he was the Jedi were afraid of him and he was the ultimate villain. And And right here he says, "Let not one of them leave alive." And this is pretty much where he was like the whole time. He let me see if there's any more of these that I had on here. And this is why I wanted to highlight it, because when I was watching this, it was awesome because you can just see it in their face. Like, this was a Jedi Master. He gets rid of him in like 1 second while taunting his Padawan about how terrible his master was, basically. And if you've only known Grievous as the way he was in the movies, you might be surprised to see this. This is the Padawan he was taunting. And he was going to the Jedi Council to explain to him what happened. And another reason why, sorry, I kind of took that over, but another reason why is that now when you go deep dive into Star Wars, you realize that the Jedi Council blew it in a lot of ways. And you can even kind of see it here. Like, you can kind of see their like stubbornness, their Jedi Council way, I guess that you could say. Yeah, where they're just kind of ignoring it and they're kind of doing their thing. And in this book, I think they kind of did a pretty good job of hinting at it, where the Jedi Council was kind of, arrogant, and Grievous through the whole book says it constantly. Like, he says, they're arrogant or whatever. And there's one part, it's later on, where he says, "Oh, why, you killed my master," or whatever. "Oh, so you're here for revenge? Then I've already won. Like, no matter what happens in this fight, I've already won." And it's like, you can kind of see where the Jedi Council later on kind of caused a lot of it themselves. Yeah.
And then the whole idea of that story, it's only 4 issues. It's a nice, fun, a quick read. It's basically that Padawan, who's after his master being killed, he wants to take kind of like a Suicide Squad mission to kill Grievous. And then the Council, Yoda specifically freaks out, saying that that's against the Jedi code. And that he
says it's murder.
Huh? Sorry?
He says it's murder.
Do you have that picture? Do you have that picture of Yoda, the one that you were excited about, because his face is all like?
Oh, the art in that comic, it's amazing. It's actually really good, but there are certain points, specifically in that first issue, where the art is actually atrocious. And the Yoda specifically there, Yoda is peak. It is so bad, but it is
come on.
It's just
sorry, I didn't be on top of it better. Yeah, there you go. It's murder.
It's murder.
Cowardice.
Assassination.
And that guy on the left, if we do a deep dive with Windu, that's a guy that I'm pointing a lot of finger of blame with the Jedi is Mr. Windu. He made a lot of interesting decisions as a Jedi. Had the ear of Yoda that I think would mind going that his face.
And in that comic, that story specifically, what ends up happening Suicide Squad happens, and he doesn't, and the Council tells him no, he'd be excommunicated. So he manages to rally a couple different Jedi, and they decide to leave the Order, knowing that they're gonna die for the cause. And
you keep going. I'm gonna look for those. I have those somewhere.
And on the wall, for Grievous's side of the story, he actually finds a group of younglings. And my first thought was he's just going to kill them. And then what ends up happening, which is even more interesting, is that he decides, talking to Dooku, Dooku's like, "Keep them, we'll take them to Sidious, we'll use them." And he's like, "No, I want to see if your dark side of the Force, can it be used mutated with the Genosian tech and used into a mechanical way?" And Dooku's like, "Go ahead, try it. Who cares? He found them." And then basically Grievous is trying to see if he can learn to use the Force himself. And it's really, really messed up. He basically says he wants to create these little Grievous suits for the kids.
Yeah.
And I have 2 pictures here specifically.
He had use for them.
Yeah.
I was going to show, this is what happened. This is what Grievous did to the guy.
Yeah.
That he gets on his side. And his new master, because Grievous killed his master, is listening to the conversation, but she's doing a little, meditating. And then he says, "We tell the Council, they will know without a word from me. Go to Padawan if you must, but know that you will never be offered a place among the Jedi again." And it's that kind of I understand why she's doing that, But again, it kind of just reminds me of like kind of how they got themselves into this mess, because it's here, let me see if I have that.
Yeah,
there's the Padawan. Yeah, there's him finding them.
And it's such, I can't remember the artist, but he just draws Grievous so menacingly too. Like the shadows and the
yeah. They just do a really good job with them.
Yeah, I like the coloring is just
the colors, inks and colors.
It's great in this book.
And I have these two here. I'll show you.
Okay, let me get that out of here.
Let's see. Share screen. Can you see this?
Not yet. Let me put up. Okay, we're here now.
If it wants to open. So this one here. So this is after he basically where they are in the world is they're on one of the Ugnaught.
Wait a minute, where are you at? I don't see it.
Oh, it's just a picture of Grievous's face.
Where?
That's great.
Am I just not seeing this?
I can't.
Click on it, make it bigger.
Did you make it bigger?
It is my screen.
Oh, it's still the thumbnail on mine.
Maybe because it's a different window.
I don't know.
Here, 1 second. Let me stop sharing and let me share it again. Maybe that'll work. As I said, we've practiced hours at this. We spent every day working on perfecting it.
We spent so long talking about it.
Yeah, more time talking than doing.
Because I really like that picture, so I was kind of hoping it would get.
So can you see it now?
I can see the little thumbnail. Yeah.
Oh, not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing, no.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, here. I'll have a fun one then. I have a big brain move.
Okay.
Is there a zoom option?
Well, how did you get these ones big? Just click on it. These ones got big. Wow, that's funny. Because those ones worked over there.
Here, I'll click one of these. Can you see that?
Not now, no. That is awesome.
I love this. Stop sharing. Here you go.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it like that. Because I really like that picture of him. It's really cool.
So, trying to angle like in reverse. So he says, so this is basically as soon as they take over this one world, it's the Ugnaughts from like Empire Strikes Back, the little pig people. He's overlooking all the enslaved, and he says, "Kill only those who resist further. The survivors may prove useful." So he's really cool. The coloring, the ink, and then following that, this is my favorite page out of the entire 4 issues. And Kachun agrees and such, is that basically one of the little younglings is disobeying him, and he's trying to like teach them, and then he gives them a lightsaber and she attacks them. So he picks her up, just grabs her by the arm, picks her up and dangles her over the ledge, and he says, see that assembly hall, Jedi pup, the doom structure? And she goes, I see. He's like, remember it well. And he says, the entire Ugnaught population of the city resides in that dome. Place there on my orders. And then he says, on my command, fire. And then he goes, I think you actually have the photo too.
Yeah, I'm going to get it right now because I was just looking at it.
So he says, on my command, fire. And then that's it right there. And then just the look of him on the last panel is amazing. Like that panel where it shows just her holding it and then the light, just the color of the beam of the laser hitting the dome, basically annihilating the entire population. And then just cutting back to Grievous is just his eyes. That's just pure Grievous right there.
Yeah, and he's because like you said, because she was still trying to hold on to like she's a powerful Jedi and they'll save me. And he was like, I guess you don't understand. I can just give one word and annihilate this entire population. And it just and they look on her face. Look at the look on her face, and it's like, and he's just it's like a teaching moment. He's not even being like that nasty about it. It's just a simple teaching moment. It's just crazy.
I thought he was going to just drop her.
Imagine after that he just drops her. Okay, now you can go.
Let's see.
But he's all attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's got an amazing programming. He doesn't have the Force, but I mean he has such good programming that he can anticipate anyone's attack. And I guess that's how he fights, is that he learns everyone he fights attack sequence and tricks, and he learns all of them. And then once he kills them, he keeps a lightsaber and then just uses those attack sequences on other Jedi.
He adapts from all the different Jedi, the different lightsaber techniques, and especially because Dooku taught him. So Dooku was one of the great masters. He taught Grievous all the different techniques and what to expect.
Yeah, so he there's like a couple of Jedis, and they got a bunch of merchants who got destroyed by Grievous, and they're all kind of conspiring against them, and they get this spy droid, I forgot what it's actually called, to spy on them, and he notices it, and they realize they've decided basically they're leaving the Jedi Order, and they know that when they go to assassinate him, they're gonna disobey, and they're gonna assassinate him. They know that they're not gonna make it back, but then they find out about these younglings, and they decided they're gonna have to save the younglings, and so they're going on a rescue mission. And I really like this part too, because it's another Grievous thing. The kids are running up, and they see there's droids, so one of them yells, "Turn back!" And he's behind him, and you can almost hear that little raspy, like, yeah, like little voice he has. He's like, yes, and turn back. And just look at that. Look how menacing they make him in this. And it's just, I just love Grievous when he's like this nasty. All the Jedi are terrified of him. And he's like, beg for your life, just a chance. And he's like, yeah, okay, here, I'll throw you a lightsaber. No big deal. And he throws the little girl a lightsaber. And then
toys with
the beginning of the story, he jumps in to try to save the day, because Grievous is just playing with her at this point. And let me see, I think it's this panel, or he jumps.
You can open your pages.
Same panel. I'd have the same panel over and over again, probably. Oh yeah, and here it is, and he jumps in, and he's pretty much just laughing, like what can you guys possibly do? And I do believe that's kind of where he says, if I'm not mistaken, I might have it off. And then the other master that came here, he dispatches him really quick. And it's just awesome, Grievous. He's barely trying. He's not breaking a sweat, even if he could sweat. And he's just dispatching all these Jedis. And
the moment.
Yeah. And it said right here, you seek revenge, then I've already won. And then she has to run away to protect the little ones, the little ones. So... and I just love that I just love that Grievous. Like it, when you see Grievous that way and you see him in the early cartoons, it's just I would have been so excited to see the movies, but I guess they had to have a comedic relief or something. I don't know. I'm really not happy the way he was portrayed in the movies, but
yeah. I mean, they're pretty bad in the movies with their portraying of characters somewhat with the dialogue. The dialogue kind of kills it.
Yeah,
a lot of the time. But
Sorry.
The 2003 series, I got to see some of it online.
Mm-hmm.
He's really menacing in that too, and I just love how there isn't much dialogue in that.
No, there's almost no talk at all.
Very thin.
They jam pack like so much fighting into just a few minutes. Because they're just a few minute episodes, right?
It's funny you say that, because I have a clip for you.
So good.
I love it. The way he just grows.
Just he stretches, yeah. And then just takes them all. And I love what that series does, because they have him just with the two lightsabers at first. And then later on in the second volume near the end, there's a point where he's fighting Shaak Ti. This is on the Battle of Core. I have a clip from that specifically, my favorite from the whole show. But he has specifically the moment when he's fighting Shaak Ti and some of the other Jedi with the two lightsabers. Mm-hmm. And then as he's fighting them, he slowly detaches the other hands for the first time, and they all freak out. And the two hands slowly go down and grab two lightsabers. And then he just, in like 10 seconds, just slaughters the rest of them.
Yeah, because in that cave, there's like actual, like that, the guy with the big head, he's actually a very well. Yeah, and they're very, very scared of him through most of those shows. If you haven't watched it, you can pretty much see it on YouTube now. I still need to get that from you, or not from you, but I need to get one like you have, so I can watch it because it's still on YouTube. But it's amazing, those cartoons. I like the art and everything. Those original ones.
Yeah, it's some of the best I mean, some of the best Star Wars that there is, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And here I have one clip from that I'll share here. This one will work for me at least. Entire screen share. So you can see this now.
Yepper.
Going full screen. If I can exit without it lagging. Oh,
music's great.
Too many times. Yeah. It is really awesome. And then I was gonna so how does the comic end? Where does it go from there? It's fighting the Padawan.
Yeah. He fights the Padawan. The Padawan decides to end up just completely going like, I will do the suicide mission, and he grabs them, or he cuts the railing, or so, I can't remember exactly, but basically drop them down and crush them within the building and like the lava pool. And Grievous, the guy dies. The other Padawan goes to the Order, tells him what happened, and the Order, funny enough, is like, yes, you guys saved all these Padawan, these younglings. It's a very honorable thing you did. You're still not in the Jedi Order. You have to leave. And then it kind of cuts and shows Grievous crawling out of the wreckage, fine, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even funnier that they're like, you saved all these younglings, you get to get out. You go pack up your bed and go.
And there isn't much in the way of his appearances in books either, unfortunately.
Not so far, but I think it probably will. I think when they go back and do a few flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
There'll be more there. There is one.
So I'll show this real quick, because what I was going to talk about, which I've been complaining about the whole time, is the evolution of Grievous, and I'm assuming it's because they had they had to have a bad guy that they could beat up, I guess. Mm-hmm. And Count Dooku is as cool as the other side of the pillow. He's an amazing character, obviously. And then you can't beat the guy who did it all. So I guess they had to have a kind of bumbling in it, but it's just sad because they made a good character. So this is the actual Clone Wars.
Surrender, General.
I also just acknowledged if you looked at that, Obi-Wan held up his arms like this and used the lightsaber to block Grievous jumping on him.
And then I have one more, and I'm basically showing how instead of him basically being like a boogeyman and everyone's terrified of him, instead every time he gets a fight, he basically runs. And if you see this one, although Obi-Wan Kenobi is the greatest man to ever live, if you even look, I was telling him before the thing started, if you look at the smirk, it tells you that there is no fear of Grievous anymore, and there should be, because it doesn't make sense. It's only if it has been very long since they were all terrified of him, and now...
You fool! I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku! Attack, Kenobi!
He just runs. He's always running away.
And if you see like how he's starting, I get it. Like I said, they gotta have somebody to beat up, but it's just so sad that it went from that to that. Like, and you can see what they were doing. They were making him like an unstoppable. I mean, come on, he's got multiple arms. He knows all the different techniques, and instead he just runs from everybody.
They couldn't help themselves. He has this awesome appearance where he opens up all four arms and then he gives out this little cough. Vulnerability, right?
Yeah, and then leading into that, if anyone didn't know, at least before, I don't think they've given a new reason for his cough, but like before, in that same Clone Wars, the original 2D series, the reason why he has that cough is because at the end of the raid on Coruscant when he gets Palpatine, Mace Windu runs up to him. Grievous turns around, and Mace Windu just force crushes his lungs and just crushes them, and then immediately sends him into a coughing fit.
I would say that Mace Windu, when they go out in that field or whatever it is, that's a pretty awesome scene.
Oh, love that episode.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then that leads, unfortunately, to this cinematic, I guess, masterpiece of the death of an amazing person.
Surely he can come back from that. He came back from worse.
Oh yeah, I was telling Greg there that before when he was showing me that part again when I was a little kid and watched that in the theaters, that haunted me. Just seeing her screaming like that and the fire.
So I don't know if Tran is still in here, but he asked what happened. So I did a little deep dive research, and I came up with, in canon, there's a man named Silo. He does a lot of research on cybernetics, and he was kind of hunting him down, the body, but instead he made a copy. He just basically he wanted to put people into cybernetic bodies, and he made one that kind of looked like Grievous, but the guy's name was Carbon. It didn't end well for him, and he died pretty quick. And then in Legends, the clone troopers from the 212, there are the clone shadow troopers, apparently pretty big badasses. They were sent in to guard his body, and it was there for a while. It was in a secret storehouse. And Dr. Nicolia Kinsworthy, he found his body, and he wanted to make droid copies of Grievous, and it was called the NK Necrosis Project. And he did make a droid, and I guess the droid was kind of curious what happened, who is Grievous, and he was always kind of wondering, like, kind of where he came from. And then, I guess randomly, because it's Grievous, of course, just random scrappers killed this guy, and then they actually put all of his body parts on the invisible market, which is even more dangerous than the dark market. And the mask ended up being purchased by a high-ranking admiral, and although they never said his name, they very much insinuate that who bought it? Where are you going? Why is he doing this? Do you have the mask? Oh. Thrawn bought his mask, which is actually pretty cool if Thrawn did, because Thrawn always collects everybody's stuff. So yeah. Thrawn...
did he take all the Palpatines?
And that is kind of where we're at with Grievous. The awesome beginnings, kind of the whimpering like a little puppy at the end, and his body is who knows where, scrapyard somewhere. Maybe possibly Thrawn bought his mask and it's hanging in his office somewhere. Well, but I do know on his home planet, which I think that might be Legends. I don't know if it's official. He is looked at as a god. They made a temple and everything, so he is venerated as a god.
I hope so. I also was looking quickly. I remember distinctly a cover of a book, and there was only one book he was in, other than the Revenge of the Sith one. It was a lead-in to Revenge of the Sith called Labyrinth of Evil, and it was written by the same guy who did Darth Plagueis and the novelization for Revenge of the Sith, which are both very well written.
And then there was that one shot was like New Republic or whatever it's called, where
Age of Republic,
yeah. There was that one shot, but other than that, that's kind of the Grievous.
There was the Visionaries too,
and the Visionaries, where it had his backstory with
it had more of an origin story, kind of like the Age of Republic, but better,
more detailed. Actually, showing what he was like before even meeting any of the
and then when he's shot down by Dooku and pulled out of the ocean and then kind of brought back to life.
Dooku kind of convinced him it was the Jedi. I mean, there's a lot of it goes into, and it is Legends. I mean, it goes deep. Like there was some people called it his wife. Some people just called it like a companion person that came with him that was kind of in on it with him when he was just a warlord. And and that so that's kind of why he has so much hatred for the Jedi, because he believes that they were on the other side. They were fighting these bug people, and the Jedi were convinced by the bug people that the Grievous people were the really bad guys. So the Jedi were already around anyway, getting involved, being the universe police. We all know how that goes. And so that's General Grievous could have been an awesome character. I kind of understand why they did what they did, though, because in the movies, they really did need somebody to beat up. I just wish, even in the movies, every time he's even in a fight where the ship, he hits the hyperdrive before anything happens, and it's really kind of annoying.
Or the escape pod.
Yeah, time to abandon ship.
If they in the movies, we could have made him better. My suggestion would be bring him in where all the Jedi, because I saw a couple of videos where they say that he was there, where Kenobi and Anakin, all them were chained up, and they had the little games with the bug planet. I can't think of the name of that planet right now. Yeah. He was there. If they had brought him out at the last minute, or you saw him somewhere slaughtering a few Jedi,
that would
seemed to kill like 3 or 4 Jedi, like right there on the spot. But then he ran off with Count Dooku, or he ran off to go, and you just saw a little bit of glimpse of him. And then maybe to do with that cartoon, have after Windu cuts the head off of the Fett, he walks over there, maybe does fork shows his chest, maybe does crush his chest in. So at least it gives you an excuse as to why he's lost a step. Maybe it's because Windu kind of crushed his chest. Although that would have made it not as cool that Kenobi killed him. But give me some kind of reason maybe why he lost a step, and that would have been cooler. But instead, he's just the supreme commander of the forces, and he's kind of a bumbling idiot. So it's kind of annoying.
There was one thing we didn't actually. I can't remember, we didn't discuss it before, but if anyone is curious, so when Revenge of the Sith came on DVD, and all the other prequels too, they had this special features discs, and they're really, really cool for all the detail that's in them. And Episode 3 specifically has a special feature doctorate on General Grievous and the creation of him. And it's really cool seeing all the artists come up with what their idea for the droid general should be. And everyone went into it, and I think someone had, for General Grievous, the idea, they took a spray bottle and they they took a spray bottle, they took the cap off and flipped it over and drew that, and that's how they got the idea, the design for the droid, for his Magna Guards, opposed to the General Grievous himself. But there were some really cool ideas, and one of them too was, as they're creating General Grievous, one person drew like a little kid, like a little psychic kid in a chair. And George Lucas would go by and he'd have a little stamp. He'd be like, I like this idea, I like this idea. He went up to the kid, he's like, it's a kid. He turns around like, this George Lucas look. He turns around and is like, okay. And then he like clicks it and he's like, it's not Grievous, but okay, I like it. I like the kid. And it keeps going on. And eventually someone drew him and he's like this. And he's just basically pointing his finger and poking at the wall. And he's like, I like this. This is Grievous. And then it's that classic image of him. The one you see everywhere with the concept art.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never seen that before.
That's awesome.
Well, all right. You have anything else to add, Grand Admiral Canadian?
Nothing I could think of, at least for Grievous and all that. I have ideas for
Yeah,
next.
is the wait.
What's happening? Oh, you want me to add that?
Yeah.
Ah, very good. Okay.
Oh, the timeline, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So there's his first appearance. These are the main books, at least that we found. Dark Horse, the Marvel, the obviously the Revenge of the Sith, and the movie came out May of 2005. So the 4-part miniseries that we talked about came out in March of that year, just before. The date on the Revenge of the Sith comic, and I think that's a 4-parter as well. This is the issue 2 with him on the cover. That it's apparently came out March, but I mean it's pretty much play by play of the movie. So
Yeah, they did that. The books usually come out a little bit early too.
Because no one reads books, They just everyone likes moving pictures.
But yeah, his first appearance in the Free Comic Book Day, Clone Wars Adventures #1. I think it's a 9/8, going for about $400 on that book. So,
Hoosier, just make sure you're watching. This is a good shopping list for you. For I got a birthday, March 29th. That's my birthday. Just
March 29th.
Yeah, click some of these off for me.
You could always rig it so that you get me again. I get you again. Because
Not after what you pulled last year. That's crazy. That's too much.
And then the Visionaries, which came out just before the movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's got about 10 stories in it, and that's also a Dark Horse book. And the Grievous kind of origin stories in that, and then obviously the 2019 Age of Republic is pretty much an origin story as well that I guess they canonized. But the original Clone Wars Adventures book, I mean, is that considered canon? Everyone agrees it's his first appearance, so
it's kind of weird in that it's technically not canon, but people basically, if it's not directly contradicted by anything else, then it's basically supplementary canon. Yeah.
Right. Canonized legend.
Yeah, we don't know how in the current time how he lost his lungs, so we stick with what he has now.
Right. And then this is kind of just the timeline anyway.
Yeah, because Disney has done that weird thing where they say absolutely nothing that got made before us is not canon unless we specifically say so. But then they're just kind of adding stuff back in, so it is kind of confusing to figure out what is or will be canon. So
it's probably they realize, okay, we don't really want to have to pay all these people to rewrite these things again. Let's just use this again.
Right. And so the Clone Wars 2004 episode 10.
That was the finale of the first
right. That was this is the cartoon series, 2003, but obviously those came out in 2004 because they're later in the seasons. And then 2008 in green there is the Clone Wars series that everyone knows.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in quite a few episodes of that. The good one, the Warship, episode 3 and 4 of the first season. That's a pretty good one, and that's set before Revenge of the Sith by about 3 years, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, that's a pretty cool timeline. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's a shame too because he had some of the canceled episodes they were going to make for the last seasons. There were some Grievous centric ones, and one of the other big ones that they got that was turned into the comic, which was Son of Dathomir, was the Darth Maul one. And that's in that comic, you see how General Grievous goes to Dathomir with all the droids and genocides the entire Night Sister race.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense because he's been a bumbling idiot and witches that basically can have the power of they're way powerful. And all of a sudden he can go there and if you remember the cartoon, it happened way too fast and way too easy. I was like, what in the world? And I was like, it's like a little glimpse of what he can actually do. And then 2 episodes later, he's like, and he messes up and runs away. I'm like, what in the world are you doing with this guy?
What up, Southern Comic Geek? How you doing?
Hello.
So this is our first episode, so we'll tighten up the ship a little bit as we go.
Yeah,
we would love to be able to announce what our next week's character is, but although we had 3 weeks to do this, we did not finalize what our next character will be.
I think we have. I think we'll just leave that as a teaser.
Yeah, we'll tease
during the week.
Yeah. You'll have to figure it out. You have to watch Instagrams.
We'll just post the color, and that's it.
But I want to thank everybody for coming on. Thank you 2 gentlemen for suggesting this. This is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like talking Star Wars.
It'll be a lot more. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, especially when more news comes out, new things, and when we can have actual series, like when the Bad Batch show comes out, when all the other stuff. It'd be nice to have those weekly to talk about too.
Yep.
And you say Jar Jar Binks. But I went down a dark hole.
You do not want to. I'll tell, because we're not going to get to it. I'll tell you quickly what happens to him in canon. It is the saddest thing ever. Poor Jar Jar Binks. After the end of Revenge of the Sith and everything, he gets basically sent off. He gets sent out of the Senate. He ends up on this planet. And this is actually after episode 6. This is in that Aftermath book series. Some character sees him on a planet, and he's basically in the town center like a jester, just dancing around, making a fool of himself for change. And all the children love him. The children love him, watch him, but all the parents just kind of kick the kids away from him because they realize and they acknowledge that they know who he is, and they know that he was responsible for helping put Palpatine in the power. And
people don't realize that he was the vote that did it. People don't realize that until you look into it. Yeah,
and he's just basically he's alone. He's alone. He's sad. Only children like him, and everyone else just like treats him like a vagrant. And it's so depressing.
Like in real life, the kids love him, and the adults hate him.
Oh, I was going to show this because
rhymes.
I know that I do the toys, so I'll do this real quick, and then we can go. I don't have any General Grievous, but I do have this.
The Vulture,
Yep. And it does kind of fold out. And so they can, it can stand, it rotates, and then, because it walks.
I love it.
So it's actually really cool. It's a really cool one. And it has the missiles and everything. So I just thought I would show this. Maybe I'll try to show the toys. So I have an excuse for continuing with the toys. Yes, but that's sad Jar Jar Binks. But top Jar Jar Binks is Darth Jar Jar Binks. And if you ever not seen that there, you look it up on YouTube.
Drunken Foo Master.
Yeah, you will go down a dark path of the rabbit hole. But all right, guys. So tune in next week. We'll be here again next week with an all new deep dive into a character. And thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, everyone.